Hello everyone and welcome to another Modswell video. I'm your host Maxwell. Today I'm going to be taking a look at some of my favourite mods from Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC. And this game is fantastic. It looks great and it plays so nicely. That being said, mods can paper over a few cracks and improve our quality of life. I haven't actually been feeling particularly well over the last few days, so I am going to keep it short today and I hope that's alright with everyone. But let's just get into the video. For the first mod, I've chosen Dynamic Seasons. This mod is going to be putting all 4 seasons into the game with their own colour palettes and weather systems. Weather mods are always a good way to change up the visuals because lighting gets improved, there's more realism in the skies and across the land. But because of how well Red Dead handles weathers, the mod just sits in and takes advantage of the immersive weather effects in-game. Snow settling on the ground, for example. But let's actually just break down the seasons. I will start with winter, where as I literally just mentioned, the snow is going to settle. The temperatures will of course be lower, and it's going to give you more of a reason to play into those survival aspects. For autumn, the palette turns more orange and yellow. The weather warms up a little and the snow turns to sleet, rain or probably just an overcast day. There's also much less to worry about when it comes to survival aspects, which isn't to say there's none though. The summer and the spring are both warmer. Spring largely follows the vanilla game weather, whilst summer blasts you with more frequent heat. The reason all of this is worth noting is because you can spec into a more survival based playthrough with a simple edit like this one. It also doesn't hurt that it makes your game vary in style, looking even better than it already did in the process. I 100% recommend this mod. Moving on to the next mod, where I've chosen PED Damage Overhaul. In the base game, locational damage is kind of a thing, but it's not a deep thing. In fact, most of the combat, whilst amusing, needed work to round off the edges. This is where the damage overhaul comes in. This mod is going to try and reinvent the combat system, how it feels and how the enemies react to your actions, whether you hit them or not. Let's say for example you pulled off some pretty sweet shot, but in the game you're not rewarded for this kind of tactical or advantageous shooting. With this mod, when that same shot is made, you will see the target react as if he's been hit there, falling to the ground, writhing in pain. But what if you hit them in the hand? Well, the target's going to drop their weapon, aren't they? Your locational damage is going to mean a whole bunch with this mod installed, but perhaps even beyond this is just how different every fight feels from the last. Different groups actually react differently and they move differently. Target certain spots and find which level of maiming best deals with which of the gangs. I've not seen many mods that add this level of immersion to fighting with changes to the system mentioned above, but also you get things like dialogue edits with your enemies pleading, they run in fear or they attack you with anger. Enemies can also now bleed out because of their wounds. This bleed out mechanic happens at many rates to stop the enemies from all bleeding out and dying at the same time. There's also a knockout mechanic for those who have bled too much but not quite enough. And finally, there are movement and behaviour edits which change as the fight goes on, depending on what is happening in the fight. Well, you get all this if you're just using the light version. Should you want to take a step up, you could go for the standard or the overhaul versions and have extra features added on, such as edits to NPC health pools, a balance to damage for less spongy combat, NPC accuracy adjustments, which are tied to health. We also get core drain depletion edits and so much more. For a full rundown, I suggest checking the description for a link to the mod. These 2 mods alone will be classed as my favourites, and the top 2 I will always throw into my game. But I also have a few quality of life mods that I would really rather not play without. With that in mind, I'm going to quick fire off a few of these that I think might help. First up is more of a tip than a mod, but find yourself the perfect save file. It's going to skip so many of the earlier missions, and Chapter 1 is one of the most irritating intros to a game, and I highly advise skipping it if you've played the game enough times. You do actually learn a lot of mechanics here though, so if it's your first playthrough, it will be worthwhile. Another mod that is going to make your life that little bit easier is Special Horses in Wilderness. You want something a little better than the usual horses, then this mod is what you're looking for. It adds in multiple horses to the wilderness that have some pretty decent stats. This mod is going to be great for the horse lovers and role players out there. Your world looks more alive with far more ease of transport. If you aren't into that idea though, you could just use unlimited horse call whistle distance, unlimited horse call whistling distance, and have access to a horse whenever, even more easily. There's also the companion system mod that will allow you to take NPCs on a journey with you. This is really helpful if you want to build the idea that you're running your own fresh gang, group of hunters, or whatever really. But truth be told, this mod for me leads into the mod Dog Companion, which is just fantastic. Journey about with your four-legged friend who keeps an eye out for you at all times. You should also check out Guiding Wind. This mod acts similarly to Ghost of Tsushima, where the wind will direct you towards your target or goal. Now this is so helpful for anyone such as myself who just hates HUDs in games, but is also pretty directionally challenged. Essentially, this mod will show you the way by waving grass, trees, and really anything that moves in the wind towards the objective. It looks great and I absolutely love it. And finally, the last mod worth taking a look at if you don't have an Nvidia RTX card is Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.0. This mod can improve your performance quite considerably at the cost of some picture quality. For someone like myself running off of an older build, I kind of require a mod like this to have a better playing experience. I'm going to end the video by talking about a few mods that I love in theory but either don't have the machinery to run at a standard I'm happy with, or I haven't had enough time with to give my full stamp of approval. For example, there is the Ambient NPC and Ambient Gangs mod. These will add people in all over the game world, with Ambient NPC characters being more generic townfolk, some with useful features like being stores. As for the gangs, this mod's going to add in roving gangs to the wild. You can come across these whilst free roaming and enjoying the game's side missions. Some of the gangs can lead to some very spicy engagements should you be close enough to other spawns. If you like your game feeling and looking a little different, with more utility characters, combat and loot, then this combo's a must. Just be aware that more spawns require some slightly better hardware than what I currently have. You can add more combat in other interesting ways too, such as the myriad of different bounty mods, from replayability of existing bounties to brand new hunts. You can start your own gun shop with Gunsmith Business. That will be needed with all of the new loot from the bounties, the new gangs, and why not also check out new ways to rob places such as bank robberies or stagecoach robberies. Another great new mechanic for those trying to play in the Highwayman style. With that, I'm going to call it. If you'd like to continue the conversation, come and join us over on the Discord server. You'll find a link to this and all of the mods mentioned in the description below. The server is currently going through some changes to accommodate the PC modding community, so now is the time to join to have your say. If this video has been helpful, I would really appreciate those likes, comments, and of course subscriptions. They really help me with the algorithm and they push my video out so much further. But whatever you do, thank you for watching and have a good night.